Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
Mike, it looks like you're not in Wisconsin anymore, buddy.
No, I'm definitely not in Wisconsin anymore. I'm in sunny California or sunny Florida. It's a
Wow.
little chilly actually here, but it's snowing at home, so this is not a bad thing.
Damn, that's too bad, huh? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me ask you something. So you're in Florida, where I'm assuming it's like probably right now maybe like 73, and please tell me your wife is stuck in snowy Wisconsin while
Of
you're in
course.
Florida.
Yeah, I hope she's fired up the snowblower. And no, it's only it's only mid 60s here, but it was a little chilly this morning when I went out for my coffee. But
Ah, you poor thing.
yeah, no, I was not happy.
It's brutal, huh? Tough action out there. Well,
Yeah,
welcome everyone to the show. It's been a little bit. We're gonna hopefully be doing some daily. Mike's actually, when he says in Florida, he means at the International Open, and I want to start with that, Mike, because that's the flavor of the day.
yeah.
Uh, First of all, we're not in Virginia anymore, Mike. Tell me about the venue, what the vibe is like. It looks real different. It looks like an upgrade from afar, but tell me
Yeah.
what it's been like for you on site.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a good move for Pat and the International. I think you know always loved it in Norfolk because there was such history there and they had such good
Yeah,
following. But it was obvious in recent years that maybe it had kind of played out in Norfolk. And I know Pat wanted to grow the event, do different things, add amateur divisions, things like that. And really he had no extra space to do any of that in Norfolk. So, and so he came down to St. Augustine, found a great property, big, everything's on site, huge convention center area, ballrooms. It's a really nice facility, and he's got plenty of room here. The ballroom setup is really nice. Did a couple different things. And added these divisions, has the amateurs in there. It's first year, so there's some things that I'm sure he'll look at and say, is this the best way to do this? Is this the best way to do that? I think overall it's been really good. I think the feedback from the players has been really positive. As far as him sticking around here, the city of St. Augustine really got behind him. He had a PR firm down here doing some work, and they've had tons of local exposure, television-wise, radio-wise, print-wise, that is helping because Florida is such a great pool community, right? So it's a really good place for him to grow this over the coming years. So I think it's a really good setup.
Mike, speaking of feedback, I'm getting some on your end. Do me a favor, refresh for me, and then come back in, and we'll bring you on in. Hopefully, that'll clear up the audio issue that we got there. It's just a little bit of static here. Mike's gonna take a little bit of a break. We got International Open to go and recap. We also got the Puerto Rico events that were going on last week, I think it was. So we're gonna be going over that as well. Let me see if Mike's back in. I did reach out to Christina, so hopefully we'll be able to get her on at some point in the next coming days. I told her I'd gladly work with her schedule. So the world champion. Anyhow, Mike, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine. I was hearing you fine before. Am I still crackly?
No, it sounds good. And actually, before we went live, it sounded good. I don't know why it just started breaking up a little bit there. But yeah, Mike, it looks pretty solid. That's great when it comes to the local support. I know that they got a really nice pool community out there in Florida. Hearing from a bunch of friends of mine that are out there, and it's great. Where it's like Virginia was cool when I went out there. I think maybe twice altogether, and it was great. Having Q Masters nearby was always solid because you can go and check out there and all the history that brings and all that. But it just felt dated, where this feels a lot more fresh. Yeah.
No,
And
you're 100% right. It had gotten a little bit stale in Norfolk, and and even with Q Master there, the biggest pool room in the country, and they, the event really didn't get a lot of support. I would have thought they would be bus loading people from Q Masters to the event. They didn't. So I think it was a good move for him to try something new, try something fresh, go somewhere different. So I think that this has worked out really well. He's set up the ballroom differently. He's got nice little like separate arena little setups of 4 tables. So you've got 4 table setups, like 6 of them or 8 of them, the room that you can sit around and watch a 4 table grouping of action. So I thought that was a good move. There's a couple things that struck me personally. I thought it's a little too bright in there. It's like a library. I like a little bit of ambiance with the pro matches.
You just spent too many times in cocktail bars, Mike. That's the reason why.
Yeah,
I know, my man.
I like the mood. But
Yeah. You gotta set the vibe.
It feels a little more like a professional event when the lights are lower and the only light is on this table where these guys are playing, right? So I like things like that.
But is it stiff though, Mike? Because that's one thing. Look, maybe I'm just like still coming off the high of coming back from Asia, but like, how's the feeling in the room? Like, are fans excited? Is there a lot of people there? Is there a lot of foot traffic? Things like that, Mike?
Not a ton, but enough to there's people watching matches.
Well, it's still been early in the week too, right?
Yeah, the TV arena's been good, and I don't know if they've done much of a paid gate, but again, first year, get the news out there, get people to come. I think that the one thing that's a little bit weird with all these different events is that the 9-ball ends, tomorrow, and then they keep playing after that. So if I'm a fan and I'm looking, okay, when do I go out there? You're kind of looking at the last day, thinking that's what happens. But the big finish is going to be 3 days before the last day, right? So it's from that standpoint, I think they've got to work a little bit on how they pitch when people really want to be here. So little things like that.
I mean, look, you talk to pool players or fans, they always got the right idea. I love the idea of the Bigfoot being more on the tail end of it, on the 10-foot table, because that's always a premier event. And for me personally, only getting to see it, but a few times a year, I really look forward to it, and they do a good job of putting that on. But like, if I was gonna think, okay, and look, I know there's a lot of purists out there, but if I was going to think, what's the event where it'll kind of match the Monday through Wednesday kind of vibe, I would say it'd be straight pool. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of where you can just get your diehards in there. Those are really the only guys that are going to be there Monday through Wednesday. And anyway, and so, and then if you were to kind of, tweak it where the 9-ball and the Bigfoot kind of were on the days where people are going to be off of work. It's exciting times. I want to go, like right now, the final 16, if this was on a Friday or Saturday with some of these names in there, I'd be like, man, I'm on the way. You know what I mean? I want to go sweat it.
Promoting people coming out.
Yeah. But no, that's cool, Mike. It looks like it's got the potential for being like a little mini derby, in a sense. I've seen there's some like action stirring up and things like that, which is great. Listen, being in Florida in November, there ain't gonna be a lot of complaining about that.
No. You used to go to Norfolk in October, late October, whatever. You always had to worry about hurricanes. So we had a fair share of those down here this year too. But I think this is a good spot for them. I hope they do well here.
Well, we saw your questions in the chat. We'll get to them, and let's start with what the hell's this guy's name's Hef. Thoughts on Sky, Shane, and Billy on the exit in the 9-ball, Mike?
Yeah, it was kind of a really mixed bag yesterday. Shane, I saw both of Shane's losses, and he looked horrible. He looked so out of sorts. He didn't get out with ball in hand on the 8. Okay.
Really?
Against Max. Ball in hand on the 8, didn't get out. And it was just one of those, that his match against Alice was kind of the same way. Did not play well at all.
Mike, the audio's coming back, Mike. Try one more time refreshing for me. It was fine throughout. It just happened to pop back up here. So we'll get him to refresh for you guys while we jump on in. Put your questions in the chat, and we'll go through them a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to cover on this show. We got a pretty tight schedule, but we still got about a good 40 or so minutes to run through them all. Let me bring back in Panozo here.
So it looks like I got about 8 minutes of talking time before I start cracking up, so I'll talk fast.
That sounds about right, Mike. Well, that's okay. We can have a constant refresh. I'm good with it. So give us a little break from
Yeah.
seeing that mug of yours. But
Yeah, Shane looked horrible yesterday. Billy losing to Max. He had plenty of opportunities. It gets late in the match, and they just don't seem to get out from certain runouts where you think, well, this shouldn't be a problem. And all of a sudden they're out of line. All of a sudden they end up missing a shot that they make most of the time. So yeah, Billy had more than enough opportunities to win. I did not see Sky's match where he got beat by Max, but it's what Federer on the other hand ran over Kachi. And Tyler, I'll give Tyler credit for hanging in there and beating Jayson, because he gave away a lot of games late in that match, and I thought it was going to cost him. I thought it was going to be one of those, here's where he does the late match fade. But give him credit for sticking in there and getting it done. And those were the two wins were against Mosconi Cup foes, right?
Well, if you're gonna bring up questions about Tyler more than anything, I'd say it's probably about how he can come through when the pressure's at its tightest. You know what I mean? Like I think
Right.
through like in a race to what is it, Mike? Race to 10 out there, if I'm not mistaken, right? So like if you're gonna look through, let's say 15 or so games with that break and the way that he's really sharpened up like his overall game, I think he can hang with most anybody. Getting a win like Jayson, I would say it's a lot more of a credit to where Tyler's at right now, and more importantly, it's that pressure situation that really impressed me, because it looked like it was a little back and forth as when it comes to the scoreline. I didn't get to watch the match, Mike, so I don't want to talk like how the strategy or so went. But good on Tyler for finishing the job, and that's the kind of momentum and confidence booster you needed. Like if you were to pick, hey, listen, give me the last two guys for Team USA and to last longer, Tyler may not have been on that list. You know what I mean? Federer would have been, but Tyler probably wouldn't have, given the other guys that are on that team, Mike. So
Right.
and we always talk about like recent form and where you are right now and how that's going to serve you, especially going into Mosconi Cup, which we talk about year round. But look, if you're Tyler getting a win like that over Jayson, and Jayson looked pretty good in Hanoi, you got to really like where you're at as far as your game, and that break, like I said, from Tyler. Can be pretty solid, Mike.
Yeah, no, it was a good match for him to win. And, you look at before Mosconi, how much difference does any of this stuff make? Most people would say pretty much none. Shane playing poorly, he can pull it together. Tyler winning doesn't mean he's going to, but, for someone like Tyler, I think it is important to go in there feeling good about, you close out a match against Jayson when pressure was on. It was win or go home. And so, there's something to hang your hat on. Is Jayson going to be all nervous and feeling bad about his game losing the title? No, but it's so you look for the victories that you can get, and I think that was a really good one for Tyler to win.
Jayson's the one guy where like whenever like both of us talk to a lot of players, and whether it's mid tournament or post tournament or whatever. But when Jayson says, no, I'm just going out there and I'm playing, I'm not really letting, the pressure of the moment or the pressure kind of get to me. I'm not trying to overthink it. Like he's one of the few guys where I don't feel like I'm getting fed bullshit when I hear him, Mike,
Yeah, no.
Like I think he's perfectly content with where life is at this point. So it's like he's not hanging his hat on being like I'm not paying bills here by winning the International Open. You know what I mean? He's a competitor. He wants to compete. His game is so solid. But like he doesn't put too much on his shoulders in that regard.
He's got experience and he knows he's got the talent. He's got the right temperament. So Jayson, you never worry about Jayson's going to be ready. He's going to be ready. But again, like I said, if you're Tyler, you're going to be much happier going won that match last night than having lost it.
No, absolutely, Mike, absolutely. And I'm going to try to bring up the the graphic for the final 16 that I had made.
Yes,
If you
you
give me
got
just
2 out of the 5 Team USA players still in it, and 2 out of the 5 Team Europe players still in it. You got FSL Alcade still in, and you've got Tyler and Federer still in. If
I
you're
tell
doing
you
them
what,
count on the last 16.
yeah, two of them coming in from the one loss side in the Americans that are going to draw into winners, and two of the
Yeah,
Europeans, David and Prince.
you got to assume at least one of them's going to pull either Alcade or FSN.
If I was a bet man,
Yes.
I'd probably say would be David versus Federer. But I tell you what, and it's no knock on Federer's game by any means, but David's looking really sharp, Mike. I think I might take David right now, just the way that he's been breaking the balls and how he's been looking out there. It seems like over the last, I know he's coming off of that win. I think it was in Morocco, was it, Mike?
Yeah.
But given how everything's kind of been for him in the last 30 days or so, man, David's playing pretty sporty, Mike.
All David does is respond. I mean, it's like everybody questions him. Everybody, how the backdoor, you got him backdoor, this, whatever. But then he just turns around and he just responds with his play, and that's what makes David so good.
Mike, refresh one more time for me as I bring up the list of the players for stage 2. Big shout out to all of our sponsors who help putting on the coverage on Windows Open. QTech being our title sponsor, Michelle Griffin, Dr. V's Custom Shop. I got a cool video from Dr. V that you guys won't want to miss a little later on, and Q and Case also. So this is the list of players that are on the for the International Open Final 16. Mike, are you still with me?
I think so.
I think so too. I don't know. Hopefully so. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, before I keep on going, big shout out to Shane Tyree. We hope you're doing all right, buddy. I know you got in a fight with the moving vehicle, and I heard you won. But
Yeah,
all jokes,
you should see the vehicle.
yeah, I know, right? I heard it was just a wreck, Mike. But no, we're glad you're all right, man, and hopefully we wish you a speedy recovery as well.
He must be all right. He's already busted on me in the thread about whether I could run out.
I know.
With ball in
Look,
hand.
Shane Tyree's got some troll in him. Don't let that sports blazer get it twisted, Mike. He's got a little needle in him as well. So anyhow, this is the players list for the final 16 for stage 2 at the International Open 9-ball. Lee Van Corteza, who sent Federer to the one loss side, Aloysia Schaap, filler. Wait, I want to keep on going, Mike, but I'm just going to stop right there because you had one job to do while you were out at the International Open. Please tell me that you've spoken with Joshy since you've been out there.
I have not. I said hello to him. He was having lunch with a couple of guys, and just a quick greeting there. And I saw
Can I guess the guys he was having lunch with, Mike?
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna guess. Let me see. I'm gonna guess Moritz was one of them. I'm gonna guess probably Frank Candela may have been another one.
No, it was Albin.
I was gonna say Albin.
Mario. It's it was that group, but it's really interesting here, and we may as well get onto this too while we're talking about Josh. Okay. And I hope to talk to Josh before we leave because I want to square up with him to see if he'll ever talk to me again. That's if he doesn't, that's his prerogative. But it's a really interesting vibe in the room between the guys who went the WPA way after October and the guys who went the WNT day, and it's really obvious and it's really awkward, and it's really a shame. It's really a shame
so it's noticeable, huh?
It's noticeable. And I talked to a couple of players yesterday who said, there's guys who won't even look at me. And you could just tell there's a nervousness and an awkwardness. And it really sucks because these guys have all been such good friends for so many years playing these events. And now this really petty squabble between WPA and Matchroom, both of whom always claim to be doing things on behalf of the players, have got the players like against each other, splitting them up. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, that's that's unfortunate, Mike, because you get it's like these guys are competitors for sure on the table, but off the table, they're one big fraternity in a lot of aspects. And some guys can't stand the other one or whatever,
Yeah, I
or
mean, there's
like have personal issues, and like that's just been part of it, right? And we both know that from being around. Um, but like we also know that they're the only ones who understand each other's struggles,
right.
right? And the challenges and the bullshit they've had to fade over the years when it comes, whether it's sponsors or promoters or whatever. Like no one else walks in their shoes except for themselves, you know. Um, and so I kind of at the beginning of all this, I thought, you know what, it ain't gonna be like that because they all are gonna understand where each other are coming from. And then as the last, like, 60, 90 days have come along, I've been turned the other way because I've been real surprised, like you, Mike, where I'm like, holy shit, these guys are really either taking offense to it or really upset with insert said player with the decision that they made or the route that they've been taking publicly, Mike.
Yeah, no, it's it sucks because it's, we always talk about pool politics, and I always hate that kind of frame. This is the first time where I really thought now it's like political. It's
Yeah.
it's almost like, the Reds and the Blues. They're divided that way now. They're divided politically by their affiliation, and it shouldn't be that way. It's really discouraging.
Well, they at the end of the day, the players themselves, um, they're in this like funky transition where like they just want to go play pool, and it sounds cheesy and all that, but like fundamentally, that's what they want to do, right? They just want to go and play pool. They don't want to be, figureheads for this side versus the other side. I think in the coming months, as you'll see more twists and turns in that drama, then you're going to start seeing more players take a different approach that may surprise a lot of people. And I'm not trying to like, you know, uh, be discreet about anything or say something's looming, but I just think that we haven't seen the last of all that's been going on between WPA and Matchroom, and the players are the ones who are going to suffer because listen, some guys are specialists in one regard or more dominating in another or more all around where it doesn't matter, like if you're a fetter. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to missed opportunities for guys to build a bankroll when it's already been tough enough as it is in general, and tough to fade.
Yeah, no, it is. It's exactly right. I mean, they're not getting all the opportunities that they should have. And at the same time, there's a wedge being driven between them personally, and it just sucks to see that. And I think if WPA people, Matchroom people, whatever, were in this arena right now, and they would feel that, they might think a little bit differently about, we really got to get our shit together and straighten this stuff out because these people that we're purporting to be all 100% behind, we're screwing them over, and
Well,
we're making life miserable for them, and it's not cool.
next week could be one of the things that'll kind of tilt that a little bit depending on how that product is when it comes to the Mosconi Cup, and I'm excited for it, and I know it's going to be a fun time. But like nobody wants to see a watered down product, and what I mean by that is you don't want to have guys who aren't there who should be there, like a Josh, and listen, when all this you know, when these players were coming out with their public opinions and things like that, like it was great and unity and guys are sticking together and all this, but uh, at the end of the day, as fans, fundamentally, we just want to see great pool. We want to see the best guys. You want to see the heroes. You want to see the villains. You want to see the heels. You want to see good stories. We want to see Cinderellas. You want to see all those things, and so I don't want to miss opportunities to be able to view that and cover that and talk about that because look, pool really is booming. I mean, I was talking with the guy earlier, and I'm talking about how hectic the schedule has been, and because I it was a long story of me needing to ship something out to him and didn't. But I was just like, man, this it usually I'm like Johnny on the spot, but this year it's just been super hectic. And I can only imagine what it's like for all these guys, you know what I mean? And getting a new level of respect for just everything that they have to fade when it comes to time zones and competing and jet lag and all these things. And then in the middle of it, they're like in this war, when it comes to a couple of promoters, when like, look, they just want to go and play. The promoters
Yeah,
want them there. They want the best players there, you know. The players want to be there, but it's just like because they're being tugged in one direction versus another, we're just getting a lesser product than what we should be at this point, Mike.
yeah, no, yeah, no argument there. We got to keep it
Well,
squared
I
away.
tell you what, I'm going to be highly disappointed if you don't get something from Josh, Mike. And I'm telling you that
Oh,
right
I
now.
will. I mean, listen, I'm not. I sent them a note, told them I want to talk, but at the end of the day, if he just doesn't want to talk, I'm not going to call him out. I'm not going to, push him on.
I'd call his ass out. You know what I do in that situation, Mike? I just hit record, just hit, and then just ambush him. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, listen, these
No,
guys,
look,
they don't ever have to talk to me. They don't ever have to, whatever. They do whatever they want, and I respect that. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to talk to him. If I don't, I don't.
look. I know that his reputation when it comes to like publicly has taken a bath lately, but look, both of us know Josh personally. We both still think he's a great guy. And so I hope that he comes out and does talk about it, not for the sake. I mean, well, partly for the sake of the story, obviously, because that's just par for the course. But I mean, look, Josh is like the A1 guy, right? He is a premier player.
He's the best
Uh,
player.
yeah, and so what he says, or in this case doesn't say, speaks volumes. And so people are curious, and so and I think that there's a lot more to it than what pool forums are given credit for, because there always is, and so um but
Well,
in the
social media has made it a lot tougher on these guys for sure. They say anything. I was talking to one player yesterday. He said, "Listen, I could come out tomorrow and post that I cured cancer, and there's going to be half the people on social media are going to call me a jagoff for doing it." It just
yeah
there's just no way to win. And there's been athletes in all sports over the years who haven't spoken to the press because they just don't trust them, and that's fine. Some people can just take that stand, and maybe that's the best place for him, and maybe that's the best place for Josh, because he's not, um, you know, uh, it's not where he feels most comfortable. So, again, um, it's all up to him how he wants to proceed. So.
well, relative to other sports, these guys aren't getting any kind of formal media training when it comes to things like that. So like, you're going to have these growing pains or putting your foot in your mouth moments, and that's just part of it, and you got to weather it one way or the other. Like, I think that like Greg says, it's a blessing and a curse. But look, there's some guys where fans care and some guys where they just don't, and so I would say, in terms of whether they love you or hate you, like, it's a good thing they're talking about you one way or the other with a guy like Josh, and people still want to see him play. We still know he's, one of, if not the best players on the planet. And so, I want to see him play in all these big events. I'm excited to see uh, how his run at the international is going to do. But I think these guys having opinions when it comes to things, it's okay. Like, if you're gonna piss people off, it's okay. Um, just be true to who you are, while at the same time still respecting, like, the hands that feed you, so to speak.
Yeah.
And look, there's no like perfect balance to any of this, but uh, I think at the end of the day, it's about respect, and there's got to be like a mutual two-way street when it comes to respecting the players and how they feel, along with promoters that are trying to put on the events as well. And so, I hope you get Josh on. Uh, Really, that would be the only reason why I'd want to go to the international, although it does look great. But it was more to, like, talk to some of these guys as well. Albin's been pretty good as far as putting stuff out there, at least, through other media outlets and things like that. And I know he's been at their
He
point.
tried it with a media outlet. That didn't work out so well.
Say that again, Mike.
I said he tried it with another media outlet. That didn't work out so well.
Well, something's
Story.
better than nothing, I guess, right, Mike?
No, no, I think Alvin's a little gun shy right now too. I did talk to him, and he just like, listen, there's just no point in saying anything because you're going to get ripped, no matter what you say. So, so for some of these guys at this point, it's like, I'm just staying away from it. And I don't blame them. So it's certainly their prerogative. But we should get the last 16.
Mike, go in and out for me again. I'm going to bring up the last 16 again. All right, so these are the last 16 players. I don't think the schedule is out just yet, you guys. So these are not matchups that are going on right now. I'm going to try to refresh here as I bring back in Panozo. You guys can check out digitalpool.com. It's right there under tournaments where you guys can find the. These are 16 side. Here. Internet today. I'm just pushing all kinds of buttons over here, fucking this whole thing up. Yeah, working on the internet here, you guys. Thanks for hanging tight with me a little bit. Panozo, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. You were starting to crackle up before. That's why I jumped out.
It's just one of those days, Mike. What are you?
It is. But yeah, final 16. There's a lot of Europeans in there, buddy. But this is basically, I swear it's a European event because the European players in large part are the biggest group of players who decided to stick with WPA events because the European federations are so strong. So it's great to see them all here, and they're all doing really well. Josh is in the final 16. Niels beat Jayson. He's in the final 16. David, FSR, Kazakis. It's 6 out of 8 in the winners bracket are European players. Then you got Yap and Levan. Good to see Victor in the final 16 from the loser side.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Victor. Seeing him go deep, especially after the way that he's been kind of running lately,
He has looked really good yesterday. Georgie looked really good, beating Mario last night. A lot of really good final 16. Should be some really good matchups.
Max is coming off of a couple wins as well, including sending SVB out of the tournament, Mike, and he's a guy I'll be watching out for. Akachi in the mix, but not the one you'd expect. Little Claudio is making a run in this event, and he's been playing pretty stout as well, Mike. I think it's a good mix of guys who have had form all year, like when you think about Pius, last year at the Derby, playing in the finals, and then you got a great mix of, along with Europeans, Mike, there's a lot of Asians who are going to be making some starting off the year, because I know this is the first tournament for next year, as far as having a good ranking for the Reyes Cup as well, including Levan, a guy who we talk about.
Hanoi was the first one for next year.
What's that?
Hanoi was the first one for next year for the Asian players, for Reyes Cup.
Was it?
Yeah. Because Reyes Cup was completed after the U.S. Open.
Wait a minute. I thought the International was the first tournament of the year.
Tournament of the year for WNT, but for Asian players in the Reyes Cup, the first tournament of the year was Hanoi, because the last tournament before the last tournament that the automatic bids stopped was the U.S. Open. So they got to include Hanoi in there somewhere, right? So it's for the Asian players, the Hanoi was the first, so that Chua's like on next year's team pretty much.
Look, we got to get confirmation on this. That's a big swing, because then you're thinking Big Co is probably going to be on that as well, just given the fact that he was in the final, but then they're not here. Neither Chua or Co are here at the International Open. But yeah, I had no idea, Mike. That's I want to find out if that's true. Not saying that you're a liar, but I didn't know
It
that.
sounds like that's what you're saying.
I'm just kind of saying without saying it, Mike. And I don't know who your sources are, Pernozzo. No, I'm kidding. Leave in, yeah, filler. A lot of mix of Europeans, including David and FSR, like we mentioned, Kazakis. It's going to be interesting, Mike, when you have these like so-called non-WNT guys versus, like, in other words, guys who've been playing more WPA events,
Yeah.
and see if they go deep. Like a Kazakis comes to mind, a Max comes to mind, guys like that. Or if you have these like premier WNT guys win this event, because it really will set the stage for what next year's going to look like, Mike, and what guys we're going to be talking to heading into the Derby.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, they're all. I mean, to me, they're all WNT players who just haven't played in WNT events for a couple of months. So whether it's a Kazakis or Max or Josh, guys like that. I'm assuming that because this is a WNT event, that they'll still get points for this. I don't see them, getting yanked off the WNT list as far as points go. I mean, they haven't really broken.
Well, that's something we haven't talked about, Mike. Is that
they haven't broken any rules yet, have they? They just didn't play in Hanoi. So
well,
Josh
that's fair. But
year?
that's like saying, well, Josh. That's like whenever we talk to them and they're saying, oh, well, Josh is still on the Mosconi Cup. Well, we knew what the writing on the wall was,
Yeah, that's different. That's a special invitational event. Matchroom's got a little more control over who plays and who doesn't and something like that. But do they still maintain their WNT points and ranking going into next year? I don't see why not. I don't see why they wouldn't. So if one of them wins,
well, but then you're going to be looking at how are they going to play going forward? What events are they going to be choosing if they have a good start in this event, Mike?
Well, they still have to make a choice, and then as you go deeper into next year, and all of a sudden they've all missed 5 or 6 tournaments, then then maybe they drop off the rankings, or maybe Matchroom pulls them off the ranking, whatever. But right now, I'd say going into next year, all these guys to me are still WNT guys that have WNT rankings.
You ready for a dinner bet, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, refresh one more time because this fucking audio is just being a pain in my ass over here with you, Mike. We're gonna do a draft style. Me and Panozzo. I'm gonna let him pick first. He don't know it yet, so just hang tight. And we're gonna do a little dinner sweater bet here. Give me 1 second. All right, Mike. Can you hear me all right?
I could hear you in the background setting me up for a trap.
Okay, now I don't know about a trap, Mike. I don't know about a trap, but we're gonna do a little draft style here, a little impromptu here on Windows Open, for a friendly little dinner bet. So here's the deal, Mike. We're gonna pick 3 players. We're gonna go age before beauty, Mike. So I'm gonna let you pick first. This is how it's gonna work. You're gonna pick one guy, then I'm gonna pick 2, then you pick 2, and then I pick my last guy. Okay?
It's like that sucker bet where the guy says, "We're playing checkers. I'll let you go first."
What are you talking about, Mike? No, man. I'm being the nice guy here. All right. Okay. I'll tell you what. You want me to take the other side of it? You want me to go first?
Fine. I'm fine. I'll go ahead and take Josh.
Now, mind you, the players you see here, these are guys in the final 16, but this is not the matchups per se. So we don't know what the bracket's going to look like or anything like that. So like Michelle says,
it will be the left side playing the right side.
Right. We just don't know what combination.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So you go first. I'll let you pick the first player. You get 1 pick right now.
Josh.
I swear to God. I was thinking you're gonna pick Federer. I'm gonna pick Federer, and then I'm gonna pick. Man, that's tough action over here. Let me take a look here. I don't know whether or not to go left side or right side, Mike, because really, they all got 1 barrel left at this point, so it really kind of doesn't matter,
It's all even up from here.
Yeah. It's all okay. So I got Federer. I'm gonna go with. Man, I don't know if I go European or, you know what? I can't leave Carlo on the table here, Mike. And I know, it's been a while since he's won a WNT event, but I'm gonna go Beato here. I got Beato and Federer. You got Filler. Now you pick your 2 players, Mike. 2 more players, I should say.
You got Federer and Beato.
Okay. I got Federer and Beato. Yeah.
I'm going to go David.
Nice. You could have, man. That's a good pick, Mike. That's a sneaky one.
And I'm going to go yada yada yada.
It gets a little tough here.
It does. Um,
But David's solid, and this is the thing. Like I mentioned this before on the show.
like
We never give that dude the credit he deserves.
I'm tossing between FSR and Lee Van. I'm going to go Lee Van.
Wow, Lee Van, huh? Man. Well, now if I don't pick FSR, when I see him in the Mosconi Cup, he's probably going to be dodging me like Filler's dodging you. So I don't know if I should pick Francisco or not. Man, that's still a tough. Lee Van, look, Lee Van's probably the he's got so much grind in him.
Yeah.
Showing that he beat Federer earlier, you know he can beat anyone left on this list. And he's the guy where, like, if he's left in Final Four, look out, because he's got no quit in him whatsoever. I kind of want to go a little dark horse here. I like little Kachi, like Jared Haney says. Michelle says Kachi as well. I kind of like him, but you know what, Mike? Everyone knows on this show that I don't fan out a whole lot, but I do with my boy Max for old time's sake. For old time's sake, just given the way that he's been playing.
I thought you were going to throw Victor some love.
Damn. Well, hold on a minute. Can I let me think about this one more time? Hold on a second, because then Yap is still out there, and he plays solid.
Yeah, see,
you know what?
Yap's scary because I talked to Yap yesterday, and he said, "How you feel?" He said, "Oh, I don't feel good. I'm not very confident. They're not playing well."
Inside information. But that Yap always says that, though. He always says, his game's not that great right now, and
that's when he's most dangerous, is when he says that.
Well, he did just change Q company, so that's an X right there. I can't go with a guy with a brand new Q.
Yeah.
I think, you know what, Mike? I'm gonna go a little dark horse here. I'm going with the chat. Team window's open. We're going Little Kachi for my 3. So I got Federer. I got Little Kachi going deep. I'm not picking Opie Michelle. I'm sorry to break your heart, but I got Federer, I got Beato, and I got Little Kachi. Mike, you got Filler, David, and Lee Van, right?
Yep.
All right. For a dinner out there at the Mosconi Cup, huh? And by the way, the Hall of Fame dinner doesn't count for dinner either. Okay, because I know how good you move, Mike. I know how good you move. I'm gonna be there at the Hall of Fame banquet, and Mike's gonna say, "Well, here's the dinner," right? I know. See how now I'm learning, Mike. I'm learning a little bit.
It was gonna be a total Kenny Bania Seinfeld move.
I know, right? Okay, this is the bet. This is the lunch. No, it's a soup. It's a soup, Mike. A soup and a sandwich. No, look, Kachi almost sent Chua out of Hanoi. I got to watch that match out there, and I know it was on a secondary table as well. That kid's game is strong, and the kid's only like 18 years old or whatever it is.
He's a snooker player. He doesn't miss.
He can make a big shot when he needs to. His break is pretty solid. I think he makes great decisions. Does that kid? But the thing about him that impresses me the most from watching him is he doesn't rattle. He doesn't dog it. He looks like he looks like the moment doesn't even phase him one way or the other. Like, how Kachi just kind of has this, I'm annoyed at people watching me play pool. And I'm talking about big Kachi. I'm just annoyed at people watching me play pool, but I'm play strong, or I'm going to play up and down, whatever it may be. Claudio just looks like he's just staying the course. And I like that kid's game, Mike. And I think he can beat anybody on the planet. And he, right now, just because of his age and his experience, he'll be a bit of a dark horse. But look, I think there could be a time where, just like we talk about two Cole brothers being on an Asian team, I don't think we're too far away from a point in which there'll be two Kachi brothers on Team Europe at some point, because that kid's got that kind of game. So
yeah, he's going to be tough to, if he sticks with it and plays in all these events and gets used to being in the Greece later in these tournaments, he'll get a lot better in a rush.
All right, Mike, refresh one more time, and then we're going to get out of here. We're going to finish up the show. We're just going to recap the International Open. I know I said we were going to do Puerto Rico. I'm going to try to do another show probably this evening if we can. I'm trying to get with Joey as well to come on and do a show. Maybe we can recap it then. I'm working on bringing on Christina to come on the show. And then I was gonna reach out to Sky to come on the show, but I know he's still at the international. Oh wait, Sky's out, right? So maybe I can reach out to Sky.
Yeah.
Maybe you can work on that, Mike. See if we can get
Yeah.
Sky to come on the show, maybe tomorrow, and talk some more Mosconi Cup stuff. See if we can find a window for him to come on in and cut it up. So, anyhow, Mike, final 16. Are we playing down to the end today? Are we playing down to final 4 today? What's the plan? Do you know?
Final 4 today.
You guys can check out the bracket at digitalpool.com. The stage 2 bracket is not out just yet. I don't think, anyway. I'm refreshing right now. No, it's not. And then what's the schedule like for the rest of the weekend, Mike? Do you know?
You know what? I'd be lying if I said I knew. I'm heading home tomorrow evening, so I don't know what's going on after tomorrow.
Wait, you're heading home tomorrow?
Yeah.
I thought you were staying.
No, are you kidding me? I got a lot to do between now and Orlando.
What? You went out there just for the international and then you dip right back out?
Yeah, well, I wanted to come and support Pat and see what the new place looked like. And
Attaboy. Well, okay. What was I going to say? So, are you traveling tomorrow then? Is that what you're saying?
but not until tomorrow night. I got all day tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll get
7, 8
all right. So we've been trying. Well, we did a trivia for the Hanoi Open shirt that I got, and so Mike, I'm going to leave the responsibility up to you, and we're going to get out of here on this. I need a trivia question for the chat so that we can add someone into the mix for the Hanoi Open shirt that I got signed here. Give me, and I know you're just loaded with like pool knowledge from your.
How about some really obscure Mosconi trivia?
Signed jersey, Hanoi Open. Okay, really obscure. Well, I mean, people got to be able to know what, be able to find the answer too, Mike. So don't make it too obscure.
Find the answer. Some people might know it.
All right, let's hear it, Mike.
Name the only 4 women to play in the Mosconi Cup.
Damn, I don't even think I can get this on here. Okay, let me think. I know Allison's one of them.
What are you going to answer? It's a trivia question for a shirt. You're going to answer it online?
Well, I just like a good challenge, Mike. I can't compete on the pool table.
So I can't tell you whether you're right or wrong.
Okay, well, I'm gonna help them out. Allison is one. Hopefully, we get someone who can answer 3 more in the next couple of minutes before we get out of here. Damn, there's 4 women altogether, Mike.
Yeah, there were 2 women on each team in the first Mosconi Cup.
Damn. Okay, that might be. Look at that. Even the chat's like, who the hell? What is he?
Did I go too deep?
You stumped the whole pool world, Mike. we might need a plan B trivia. How about this? See if you can come up with one more, and if someone guesses the first one, we'll give them credit for that one as well.
2 out of the 4. You got to guess 2 out of the 4.
Okay, well, Allison for sure is one of them, so I'm helping y'all out there.
Jenny Ann's got to have an idea. I mean, she's been around for a minute.
Did Jeanette Lee ever play?
There you go, Jenny Ann. She went to Google right fast and came in with all 4. Jeanette, Vivian, Francisca Styer, and Jenny Ann.
Jenny Ann came in right before you, Greg. So Jenny Ann is in the mix for the Hanoi Open shirt. We had one the other day, and I don't know who that guy was, but I'll go back and check the tape, and then we'll get Jenny Ann in that mix as well. We're gonna have I think 10 more questions over the next coming days of trivia, so make sure and stay tuned for that. Thanks for all you guys for reminding me about that as well. So anyhow, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We'll do another show tomorrow. Mike, let me know if you get any good stuff while you're out there. I'll be around.
You bet.
Big shout out to all of our sponsors who help make the show possible, including Q-Tech, Michelle Griffin, Dr. V, Custom Products, and Q and Case for our coverage throughout the Mosconi Cup. So we'll see you guys soon. And Mike, enjoy Florida, buddy.